everyone. My voice is a bit croaky. I'm losing my voice a bit because I was out having fun at a birthday party and we were just screaming, laughing and singing. So excuse me if my voice sounds really deep or really croaky. Okay, so I wanted to just do a quick video talking about that it's okay to walk away from anything that's toxic or negative. It doesn't matter how much you love people, whether you love them as a friend, love them as a family member, love them in a relationship that's romantic, but I'm talking mainly just relationships in general, situations where people are mistreating you, making out that your feelings don't matter, trying to silence you, trying to gaslight you and, provoke you. And then when you get mad, call you crazy and pretend they didn't do anything to provoke you. You're too oversensitive or you're crazy. That is something that people do a lot. They don't want to face that they are in the wrong, or they enjoy winding people up and then acting the victim. So, when people keep hurting you, a lot of them realize you're not going to leave because you love them or you care about them, or you have tried to leave, but your guilt and love or care made you come back, and even if it is a mental condition or a personality disorder like narcissistic personality disorder or bipolar disorder or borderline disorder, even if it's something like that that's causing them to act in these strange, difficult ways, negative behaviours, it's still not okay. You must try and save yourself from constant pain. The constant pain that their mental condition causes them to do to you and inflict on you. I mean, it's not fair to you. And it's extremely hard to leave someone you care about and break away from them. Of course it is. Sometimes it can be toxic family members and you can't imagine not being around your family. But if you think about it, if they weren't related to you, would you tolerate this behaviour? No. And obviously, if you're a loyal, caring empath like me, who doesn't ever want to cause anyone pain or abandon anyone, then it is hard to leave because you don't want to hurt anyone, but you have to be willing to break your own heart and make the actual conscious decision to say no more, enough is enough, and because to stay in a toxic relationship is only going to destroy you, and if you stay, you will be miserable for the rest of your life in whatever the relationship is, if it's a friendship, family, romantic, whatever it is. Anything that doesn't feed your soul, anything that doesn't want you to win, anything that's just happy destroying you and putting you down, how is that losing a relationship if you leave? Like, if someone's treating you so bad that you would be in the same position if you were an orphan with no family or friends, living in the woods, seeing no one and receiving no help, if the situation is the same, as in you get no support because no one around you is willing to help you because they're negative and toxic. They want your help all the time, but will never give you help and support when you're suffering. Like I said, if leaving them will give you the same outcome if being with them is the same as if you had nothing and no one anyway, what are you actually leaving behind? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like if you were actually getting something out of the relationship that was positive, then I could see why you might stay. And some people might put their feelings aside and say, well, I'm not happy emotionally, but I get enough financial support, or I have a house, like I can't leave because they're the one in control of the roof over my head or the money or, the cars or whatever. And I can understand why some people would feel attached to those material things. But if you work hard enough, you can get those things. It's all a matter of working hard and taking your opportunities where you can, saving your money and, don't live above your means. You don't have to live in a mansion. Like, if you were married to someone rich and you were used to living in a mansion, but they beat you every night, and you're willing to let that happen just so that you don't have to leave the mansion, what does that say to your kids? Or what does that say about you, that you're willing to accept these material things but give up your dignity, sell your dignity so you can live in a pretty prison, a gilded cage? Excuse me. That's not worth anything. What kind of life is that? So I've been betrayed, by people I loved and protected, my family and past romantic relationships, and it feels as if they wanted to erase my whole identity. It really was so soul crushing to see how happy it made them to make me feel like I didn't exist. I couldn't exist as my true self. I couldn't laugh and joke and be happy because they didn't want you to be happy. They hated to see you happy. Even if it was something small you were happy about, they didn't want to see a smile on your face, because they're miserable and jealous that you can be happy and make something out of nothing. And even when your life is hard, you still try to find a reason to smile. But they want you to be some lifeless, submissive robot who only is programmed to please them and has no mind of its own, no feelings, just an object there to only please them, help or serve them, but to be nothing beyond that, to receive nothing from them. And I could not allow that to continue, because you got to treat people how you want to be treated. You got to live and let live. And I'm a good person. I always wanted to make sure everyone around me was happy. I want to be free, live safe and happy. And I want that for everyone else. I want everyone to be able to be themselves, and not feel that their thoughts and feelings don't matter. As long as you're not thinking anything nasty and negative, as long as you're not going out into the world hurting people, as long as you do no harm, I wish you well. If you're a good soul, I wish you well. But like all these bad, toxic people out here, I can't stand this world where it's just full of toxicity, full of narcissists. It's sad. And, even though narcissists are created usually by trauma, their trauma was so bad that their mind split, and they couldn't, they got pleasure out of hurting people after. I don't know why. I don't know why narcissism works that way. The person who helped me the most get over the narcissistic abuse that I was subjected to by family and ex-romantic partners was Professor Sam Vaknin. He has many videos on YouTube, and he actually is a diagnosed narcissist, but he's been in counselling and been self-aware, and is very intelligent despite the personality disorder. And he actually gives you the explanation of the inner workings of why narcissists behave the way they behave, and it really does help the victim to learn, oh, that's why they were doing that to me, or it wasn't my fault. They were gaslighting me. They were trying to make me jealous. They were trying to hurt me on purpose, and at first I was like, yuck, he's a narcissist, like, get away, but then when I actually listened to his videos, and I really feel that God put his videos in to cross my path, because I never knew what narcissism was. I just knew my family weren't normal. The way they were behaving was extremely cruel and sadistic and weird and violent towards me since I was a child, up until between the age of 7 to 15, being beaten with belts and, beaten up and thrown around the room, and just when you didn't do anything wrong. And even if you did something, why would you need to be thrown around the room? You're a tiny child, why would you need to be beaten with a belt? You're not a wild animal, you're just an innocent child. But yeah, it's very helpful when you listen to Sam Vaknin's videos, because it actually gives you almost like a look into the mind of a narcissist. Now, obviously, he can only speak for, you know, like certain narcissists. Like each narcissist might be slightly different, but weirdly, the majority of them are really predictable. They're really like once you know what you're looking for in regards to the way they behave, you will see these certain behaviors in them. You know, it's really strange. Like once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know the behaviors, the narcissistic trait, and it's not a narcissistic trait. Like narcissistic personality disorder is a real condition, a real mental health condition. It's not a joke. It's not someone who's a little bit up their own butt. It's not someone who's a big-headed, self-absorbed, you know, airhead, superficial person. It's more than that. It's worse than that. It's an uncurable, untreatable, severe mental illness, you know, just like bipolar disorder, borderline disorder, split personality. You know, they can be a Jekyll and Hyde, and it can be pretty, you know, scary if you're stuck in a relationship with them, because they'll be so good at mimicking you. If you're a good, kind person, they will mimic you, right? So the weird thing about narcissists is that they're pretty boring. They have no real personality. The personality they show you is usually someone else who was popular around them that they copied. They don't know how to be an actual human. They're like a robot who's trying to scan the humans, and I'll scan this human. I like the way he always has people around him. I'll act like him. And it's like every single relationship they get into, they mimic the person they're with. So if a narcissist is starting to go out with someone, love bombing them, and that person happens to smoke, they might pick up smoking to mimic the person. They might start heavily drinking to copy the person. They might even take drugs when they never would want to take drugs. But then as soon as they abuse that person, discard them and throw them away, they don't smoke again. They don't drink again. They've never taken drugs again. And you think, that's weird. Why did they? And then the next person might be like super, super kind, super, super, you know, volunteering to feed the homeless, and then suddenly they'll start volunteering to feed the homeless when they never done that before. They didn't care to do that before, and they never will again. Once they abuse and discard that person, they have no true personality. And that's what I noticed about my mum. Is growing up, I thought she's like a void. Because I had psychic gifts, I could just sense the empty void that was her whole soul was like an empty void. Most people, when you come across them, if you have a psychic gift, you can sense their aura, sense their soul, recognize their personality. You know, like me, if someone asked, you know, if someone had to ask describe Brave, and, you know, describe her, you could describe me. I'm kind, I'm brave, I'm intelligent, I'm funny, I care about others, I want to put people at ease, I'm reliable, I'm chivalrous, I'm, you know, honest, I don't like crooks and liars and cheats and thieves and cruelty. I hate social injustice. I hate racism. Like, these are things you would be able to describe and know that she's dignified. She's got integrity. She would never, you know, sell her soul for anything. You know, she's such a warm, loving, kind, attentive person. She really is like an earth angel. They would say these things. These are things people have said to me, and these are things I feel about myself that I know I am. That I naturally am, without acting, without forcing myself to be kind. No, I am kind. That is my natural reaction to help other people, you know, people who have to pretend to be kind for show and pretend that they're brave for show and, you know, to impress others. I don't do that. I don't try to impress anyone. If you don't like me, that's fine. F off. I'm not interested in impressing you. Like, if I'm being nice to you, kind to you, being myself, and you think it's a trick, or you don't like me, or you think, oh, she's such a goody two-shoes, or, oh, she thinks she's so good. No, I don't think I'm so good. I know I'm so good, and that's not being vain. I know who I am. I know I'm a good person. I don't need you to confirm this. I don't need you to say it. I don't need you to validate me. Like, I don't need that. You know, I don't it's weird. It's like people think, I need them. No, I want you around, but I don't need you. If you turn on me and start acting cruel, then you have to go. I'm not going to become obsessed with you. I don't know why you'd want me to be obsessed with you. There's something bad in you that wants me to be in pain over you. Why don't you want to lift me up? Why don't you want to care about me? Like, sometimes it's so weird, like, because I have a degree in psychology as well, but even if I didn't have the degree in psychology, I was already very empathic and smart and intelligent, and so I'm not like looking down my nose at anyone who doesn't have a degree or something, because man-made education doesn't make you mean you're super smart because of that, because there's many people all around the world who are so super smart and intelligent, and they haven't had the man-made, typical education at universities and colleges or whatever. So I don't judge people based on academic stuff, because you can be an amazing person and intelligent and know so much and be from a third world country and just had a hard life. But, your life experience taught you worthwhile stuff, So then I remember thinking when I was doing that course, why were there so many non-caring people on the course? Because in my mind, shouldn't you be caring? You want to be a psychologist or a therapist, a counselor, but you're so rude, or you don't like people, or you don't seem socially accepting of people. You seem rude, and and even part of the course was like doing 40 hours of your own therapy, like at the beginning stages of like the early, qualifications and stuff. That was part of it. And so when I found someone, I went to a female counselor just and explained to her that I have to do this for the course or whatever. And then she seemed okay, but I wasn't sure if she was a properly trained person. I was like, she seems so unprofessional. How could she be a properly trained person and yet come across so unprofessional, so just, I don't know, just really dopey? And like, I was really confused because I expected her to be not even about the way she was dressed, but she was dressed sloppy and her hair wasn't done and she just looked really sloppy. And I could just sense she wasn't very caring and empathic and intelligent. I could just sense these things, And so when I started talking to her, she literally looked like she weren't even looking at me, weren't even concentrating. And I thought, yeah, I already sensed that there's something wrong with this person. But I thought, how weird that you're in a job where you are literally, it is your job to help people, and you can't even be bothered to concentrate on me and look at me when I'm talking to you. How are you going to help me then if you're going to act like I'm a burden to you when I'm meant to be doing your job? It's the same with doctors and nurses. A lot of them are really cruel and rude, and yet their whole job is based on looking after people and having kindness and compassion towards patients. But yet a lot of them are really nasty to patients who are in a vulnerable situation. Very, very sad. And so when I come across people, it's natural for me to want to analyze them, not to use it against them, but to protect myself, So I'll be able to scan someone and see their weaknesses, but I would never use their weaknesses against them. I would feel that, let me strengthen their weaknesses. Let me know that these things show up in you as weaknesses. You should be careful about who you tell these things to, what people like. These weaknesses are very obvious and you should be careful because opportunists will see this and try and use it against you, try and tear you down because they will see that, you fall in love very easily, or you're a people pleaser, or you don't command, you give away your power, if you, I don't know, like there's certain things I can just see and sense very easily, and then I try to tell the person to kind of strengthen them and empower them. And some people are so weird, they don't take things the right way. You're trying to it's not even constructive criticism, because I'm not criticizing you. I'm letting you know, here are the chinks in your armor, fix them so your armor will be unbreakable, but people are so weird. They don't react well to help. And people, I've been kind to so many people, literally have saved a couple people's lives when they were in mortal danger, and one of them didn't even thank me, which was weird. And I was like, wow, like, the first thing I would do if he saved my life is thank me, unless he didn't want to live. So then he'd be like, damn it, you brought me back here. I didn't want to come back here. Maybe that was what was going on. Who knows? But yeah, just so much, I don't know, so much stress and strain. This world is very, very corrupt and evil and horrible. And, just strengthen your armor metaphorically. Always have your sword unsheathed. Always have yourself ready to fight against anything, because it is better to have a guard up and not need it than to need it and not have it. And in this world, you're always going to come across, corrupt, horrible people who want to use you, who want to abuse you. They will trick you, they will love bomb you, they will pretend that they're the sheep when they're really the wolf in sheep's clothing. And you have to be ready for that. And it is exhausting to always be on guard. It is. Most people, I'm shocked to see how many people have such a false sense of security. They're walking down the street whistling like, la la la, life is great. And I'm like, wow, are you delusional or just dumb? Like, what? Why are we walking around a city where people are jumping out alleyways and stabbing us? Like, and you're not worried, Like, I think you're in denial, or a bit airheaded, or a bit simple, or a bit naive. Because in London, people are literally stabbing mothers in front of their babies. Like, this happened recently. And so there's so many sickos out here that just want to hurt you for no reason. And they have no qualms about it. They have no barriers. They see no reason why they shouldn't stab you, why they shouldn't hurt you, why they shouldn't steal from you. They see no reason. The police don't scare them. CCTV don't scare them. Everyone should be learning self-defense and carrying a cast iron frying pan in their handbag just in case. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I was saying to myself, you know what? Because we don't have guns here in England, and I'm going to start carrying, like, a foldable walking stick, a heavy metal one that actually folds down to the size of an umbrella. And anyone comes near me, that sucker is going to be in my hand in 2 seconds and clobbering everyone to give me some time to get away, because no one's got a gun. Very rarely people have a gun. Only drug dealers and criminals seem to get hold of guns, but they're so expensive and the bullets are really expensive, so they don't have tons of guns here, and it's used sparingly and usually in gang violence. But every now and then, sadly, a bystander might get hurt by guns, but it's usually people strangling people or personal attacks with, like knives. And sometimes arson is used a lot, which is really creepy. People put in petrol through people's door, because here in England we have the letterbox as a hole in the door with a little cover over it. And the what do you call it? In other countries like America, they got a mailbox which is detached from the house, outside of the house, whereas we have on our actual front door that goes into our house a little rectangular slot, and the slot is big enough to obviously put things through that could be flammable. And so sadly, some sickos have been doing a lot of sick, dangerous things like that. If they have grudges against people and their family, they're just attacking the whole family. They're not considering kids are in the house. It's very, 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 very evil, very, very sick. And so, like I was saying, it's just, I don't know, it's just really, really sad to know that you cannot just walk out your door and feel safe. But so many people are just so in denial about it. They see all the evil in the news and they still are dumb enough to walk out the door without watching their back, without being, without the idea that they should be on guard. It's really weird. I don't know. It's like I'm not laughing at anyone, but it's like I'm laughing in disbelief, really, because the amount of bad stuff that's happened to me, I got my head on a swivel. Like, as soon as I get out the door, I mean, I'll look out the peephole first. You know, even some crazy pit bull dog could have escaped their garden or got off the leash and then be running around mauling people to death. That happens a lot. Like, I even have to look out for the dogs and the kids. Some of these kids are stabbing people. Like, my head is looking everywhere, like a CCTV on a swivel. No one is going to catch me out. No one is going to jump me. No one is going to grab my phone without me breaking their hand off to get it back. Like, and then if you got a knife and stab me, I'm taking the knife out of me and stabbing you, and we're dying tonight, both of us. Like, I'm going down fighting like my ancestors. You know, and when when I make that laughing sound, it's more just don't test me, because I'm not afraid to die and I got nothing to lose. I don't even want to be in this world. I hate this world. I'm not of this world. Anyway, but yeah, I'm going to stop the video now. So, God bless everyone in the world. I genuinely mean that. I'm wishing everyone love, light, peace and protection. Please keep yourself safe. Keep your head on a swivel. Look out for all the evil in the world so you're not caught off guard and hurt by it. Keep your people safe. Keep your family and friends safe. You know, teach yourself and your kids and your family how to do self-defense and be, you know, ready for anything. Don't just wait for something bad to happen. Be prepared. It's better to be safe than sorry. You know, preparation is, you know, to be ready. Like we say here, I don't know if people say it outside of England, but they say to be forewarned is to be forearmed. And what that means is forewarning, meaning, you know, before the thing happens, you know, before, forewarning. Be ready for the unexpected. You know, you can't know what's going to happen, but, you know, in your mind, think about, well, if this happened, what would I need to do to protect myself? Have that in mind, you know, because I notice that when I speak to different American friends, because I got family in New York and I speak to other people online, you know, men, women, black, white, all the time. And I don't know why they like my accent so much. It's so funny because I'm just like, what accent? You got the accent. And then when I start talking Jamaican, it's really funny because my family's multiracial, and the ones I grew up with were mostly the Jamaican side, even though we got Scottish, English, Scandinavian, Indian, whatever. But, you know, we've got indigenous, like Native American types, but they're not the Native Americans. They're like Native Indigenous of South America, I think. But they ended up in the Caribbean and whatever. But yeah, so it's so funny because like the Americans I talk to in New York and other places, and they're like, how do you not have guns? We cannot understand that you don't have guns. And I'm like, I cannot understand that you do have guns. Like, it is such an odd thing. I couldn't imagine sitting here with a gun on the table, a real gun, a loaded handgun in my wardrobe, in my cupboard. It seems so crazy to me. Like, because to me, I'd only have a gun if I was going to war. You know, like when I was doing the army, in the army, you were forced to carry a big rifle, you know. And I really hoped I wouldn't have to use it. You know, I don't like instruments of death. I mean, one time I bought a beautiful Japanese samurai sword, and I had it on a display bracket thing, and it was gorgeous, and it looked great in my house. But then when I held it and took it out of its little sheath thing, it's you know, the thing you put it in to keep the blade from cutting anyone. Yeah, it's the sheath, isn't it? Yeah. And then I remember thinking, this is an instrument of death. You know, swords cut people's heads off. But obviously that one hadn't been used. It was an ornamental kind of thing. And it was dull. Like, it was sharp, but it weren't like the sharpest. It wasn't, you know, I could cut a watermelon in half, but I hate watermelon. But like, you know, I could cut a pumpkin in half. But anyway, I didn't like, it was just a ceremonial, ornamental type thing. And I remember thinking, like, I wish I could have married someone from Japan. They're so interesting and fun and so honourable and polite. Like, they bow to you. Like, when you're over there in Japan, when I stayed there, oh, they're so polite. And even if they didn't like you, you wouldn't know, because they all act so perfectly polite and they bow to you. And then if you're a good, polite person, you bow, they bow, you're walking backwards away from each other, bowing. And it was like, how many times do I bow? I can still see you, but she's bowing, so I'm bowing. I want to get out of view so I can stop bowing. And then you got people here in England who just hang up the phone before you stop talking. You'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to go. And then you hear a dial tone like, hello? Yeah, so I can't stand like impolite, rude people. I would love to live in Japan again. And yeah, maybe I need to marry a Japanese guy, because I love like brown eyes and dark hair and just nice tan skin and the pretty eye shape. Like, yeah, interesting. And I like a good kimono and a good samurai sword, so it's a match made in heaven. So anyway, so when I remember I was talking about, like, in my mind I was talking to myself like, could be an instrument of death, just like a gun, and I hate guns. But then I thought, but it could be for protection too. Like, if you had no choice and you lived in the old days and you were a samurai or anyone else, you needed a weapon. So you don't want to be the only one without a sword if everyone else has swords, I guess. So obviously in America, you don't want to be the only one without a gun if everyone else has a gun, and they're all crazy. I understand that. But it's just weird because we've never had that. And people genuinely don't put anything in place in their houses to protect them from potential intruders. Like, there's so many people who just have like a security alarm, like a, what do you call it, a burglar alarm. And that's all they have, a burglar alarm. They don't have a baseball bat near the front door or in their bedroom. They don't have, like, there was only one Scottish guy I knew, and he was a bit of a crazy guy, and he had like a butcher knife under the sofa, a butcher knife behind the book cabinet, like different ones, a butcher knife under his bed pillow in case a burglar got in. But then I was like, ew, that's like, it seemed creepy, like he was just a nutter. But at the same time, is he being clever? But the fact that he was an alcoholic made me worry that, well, is he just going to stab some? What if, like, one of his kids accidentally gets up in the night and he don't realise his kid is going to the toilet? Like, I worried about him having such bad paranoia and having all these weapons everywhere. What if he stabs someone in the dark and it's someone he knew and he forgot they're in the house because he's so drunk? Like, yeah, I didn't feel comfortable staying with him after I found all these knives everywhere, like dropping out of a newspaper, a big butcher knife, a big meat cleaver behind the TV. I'm like, what is this place? Anyway, but like when I was thinking about it, and the American friends and stuff in like New York and other states, and even Canadians I spoke to, people from Alaska, even Native Americans on reservations. I was talking to everyone, like, because everyone, it's so fun to talk to cool people, and people love talking to me because I'm very open and welcoming of everyone, and make everyone feel welcome and say whatever they want, and so long as you're respectful, and we all get on. So when there's one or two who were being rude and disrespectful and trying to pretend it was a joke, I was like, no, if that's your personality, jog on. I'm not interested, because I don't want to hear negative crap. I don't want to hear negative words, stupid slurs, stereotypes, or any racist shit. I don't want to fucking hear it. So, jog on, as we say in London, like, go away. We say jog on. Like, walk on, keep going, don't stop here. Yeah, people are very, ugh. And I don't want to be mean to anyone, but I just mean when people show the ugliest side of them, what do you want me to say? I want to say, ugh, yuck, because I want to see the good part of you, just like you want to see the good part of me. You get upset when you provoke me and I show you the ugly part of me. And then you think I shouldn't get upset when you show the bad part of you, you know? It's always one-sided. It's always a double standard. It's always one rule for them and a different rule for you. Then they make up rules and then they don't even follow their own rules. It's like flip-flopping different thing every day. It's ridiculous. Not tolerating that anymore. I deserve better. Sorry, that's how it is. You know, I'm not putting anyone down, but anyone who acts cruel and nasty and can't even say thank you when I've been kind to them, I don't need that. I really don't. I got my own problems, and if I give you support, you better be damn sure that I expect some support back. And if I give you respect, and I've earned respect back, I don't expect to be mistreated. Yeah, but like I said, like it is weird how every person I know in England would not have a weapon in their house, apart from that Scottish guy, and they're different to people in England, the way they think and behave. But that might have just been that guy had a load of knives falling out of every piece of furniture, but like he seems super paranoid. These Sagittariuses seem to be super paranoid, and especially the ones with narcissistic personality disorder and alcohol problems, they seem real paranoid. They think you're doxing them when you don't even know their name or where they live, or that you don't even care to dox them. You know, and they're making it up in their head that, oh, she's doxing me, she's doing this. When it's like, no, I'm living my life. I was trying to be supportive to you. You're just making it up in your head. Crazy situations, you know. Blame the people in your past who hurt you. Don't blame me. You can literally block those people. You don't have to keep any social media where those people have access to it. If you're keeping toxic ex people on your social media, allowing them to contact you or comment on your stuff or contact your friends and family, why are your friends and family taking their side and listening to them? Like, what is going on with that? Obviously they're disloyal, and you could just literally delete all of the social media and make new ones and make a new name, like that they wouldn't even know. You know, you could cut these people off, but you're choosing not to. And then you're complaining, why am I seeing all these messages? Because you won't block them, because you won't, you know, part of you wants to allow the drama, which is, you know, it's your choice to keep staying in the drama and putting yourself in danger. You know, it's like if your house is on fire, but you're like, well, I don't want to leave my lovely couch to burn, but it's too big to get out the door, so I'm gonna sit here on the couch and hope it doesn't burn. You know, it's like, well, do you want to live or do you want to be saved? Do you want to save yourself or not? Well, okay, I'll pray for God to save me, and then God sends the fire brigade to save you, and they come in and say, quick, come with us, we're going to save you. No, I'm waiting for God to save me and my nice sofa. I've prayed, I'm a Christian, I'm waiting for God to save me. No, well, we're the only ones who can save you right now. And then when that person burns to death and goes to the spirit world and asks God, why didn't you save me? And my stupid couch. And then he says, I did try and save you. I sent the fire brigade. Why do you think the fire brigade came to save you? You know, like, you lived in the middle of nowhere and no one knew your house was on fire. How did you think the fire brigade got there when you didn't call them and no one else saw the fire? Like, hello? So I'm not laughing at people burning in fires. I'm just making that joking sound because it's like, people are so stupid. Like, but like, yeah, it is weird to me that, like, it is weird to me we don't seem to have a lot of backup weapons in case someone tries to break in our house. Like, literally, if someone broke in where I am right now, I would have to grab, you know, the can of deodorant and spray them in their eyes and blind them, jump over them, run out of the house and try and get the neighbour to call the police. That would be my plan. Looking around the room, there's no weapons in here. I think there's a metal stand that maybe I could wield that, but it might not, you know, couldn't get a good grip on it. What else could I, like, it's weird, there is literally nothing in this room that could protect me apart from squirting some shampoo in his eyes and then running away and hoping I get away. Like, I don't know. Now I've been talking to all my American friends in, like, New York and stuff, and I'm like, well, what do you suggest? And they're like, a wooden baseball bat for starters behind the door, one in your room, one in your front room, one in your bedroom. Just put it in the umbrella stand or in the corner behind the door. And I'm like, oh my God, I find that weird to have tons of baseball bats everywhere. And I said, well, wait a minute, the baseball bat isn't even that long. I'd have to get pretty close to the burglar to whack him. And they're like, yeah, but when they see you standing there with it, they might turn back. And I went, oh, it's more of a showpiece. I said, maybe I should put some nails through it, right? And then make it look like an old fashioned, mace or something with spikes coming out of it. And I was like, so now I'm thinking about what weapons should I, some homemade weapons, a piece of wood with nails coming out of it, make it myself, set it on fire, like when they come through the door, throw it at them. But yeah, like for some weird reason, there's this really weird false sense of security that everyone seems to have in England that no one's coming in their house. People are very naive, very naive. I mean, I know I've got nothing to lose, and I'm not afraid to die. So if I have to tackle you and gouge your eyes out, I mean, if you win, then I'm dead. But if you don't, you better run. If I get the upper hand, I'm not going to stop. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to be in that situation. But I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, but I'm going to head off. I hope everyone has a good evening, morning, night, wherever you are in the world. God bless you all. Keep safe. If you live anywhere where they don't have guns, I guess you have to buy a ton of kitchen knives and meat cleavers and baseball bats if you want to feel safe, or have a load of salt water ready to spray in the burglar's eyes. I'm not sure. I don't know. But for some weird reason, it is so different. Like, when I visit my family in New York and stuff, it is so different. It's a different world over there. When they come here and visit, they have a fun time with everyone's different accents and hanging out with all the different people here. But God, it's like a different planet over there in America compared to England. Yeah. Anyway, good night and bye for now.